I'm Allie Cartwright, and this is another episode of Q and Allie, where I empower you to live your best life. Now, normally on episodes of Q and Allie, I read a letter that has been submitted to me with a question. But this week, I don't have a letter to read to you guys. I wanted to talk to you about children and meditation. Right now, a lot of people are home with their kids a lot more than they would normally be. And this is such a fantastic opportunity to begin to or continue to develop your child's ability to be mindful and grounded in their life. Developing a meditation habit early on is such a wonderful, wonderful gift to give to your child. Now, a lot of people think that their kid is too flighty or not focused enough to be able to meditate, that they're not going to be able to do it, and it's going to be a big pain in the butt. But I want to assure you that if those are your fears, you can release them, because meditation with children is fun and easy and relaxed, and there is no pass or fail when it comes to doing meditation with children. The only way to fail at it is to not do it at all. So some basic ground rules or guidelines, really, there are no rules, for meditating with children is: 1, do not judge how well or poorly they're doing, and try to encourage them not to judge themselves. Because just showing up and making the habit of setting that intention to be able to focus is so powerful in and of itself. It doesn't matter if your child's focus only lasts for a second at a time if they're making that effort. Secondly is to not try to make this big, long haul of a thing. When you begin meditating with children, really just doing these exercises for a couple of minutes is really powerful, and it gets them really into it without overwhelming them, and it makes a huge impact. I mean, 2 minutes is a long time when you are first starting to develop your focus. Even if you're having fun with it, it's still, your mind will be surprised at how long 2 minutes can last when you're working on that focus. So don't try to do it longer than that at first. You know, if your kid wants to eventually move into longer meditations, that's great, but there's no pressure. Just a minute or two for these exercises is absolutely wonderful. Third guideline is don't worry about age. Seriously. And don't worry about if your child has extreme focusing issues like ADHD or anything like that. That's okay. I first began working with my son on meditation when he was about 7 or 8, and he has really severe ADHD issues, and he's got some other stuff going on with that sort of thing, and it was amazing the difference that meditation made in his life. It came across like a superpower to him. He couldn't believe how much easier it became to focus his mind when he had this habit of making time to practice it every single day. Now, for the record, he's 12 now, and getting him to do a daily meditation is a little bit more challenging these days because he's a preteen and he's finding his own way. So you gotta kind of let go of some of the control in that area too. You know, if your kid falls off of the habit, you have to sort of just flow with it and read your own child. And you can remind them, hey, you know, when you did this, this was great for you, but you can't always force them to keep their habits. All right, you guys. So those are some general guidelines, and feel free to put comments below with follow-up questions or any challenges that you run into as you try to begin working with your children on meditation. So I have a few different types of children's meditations for you to try. The first one that I want to show you is called the balloon breath meditation. And this is a really great visualization for kids to help them really get in tune with their breathing and deepening their lung capacity and their ability to breathe slowly and deeply. So with the balloon breath meditation, what you do is you ask your child to imagine that they have a balloon in their belly and that they're going to blow it up when they inhale. And they're going to hold it when it's, blown up as much as it can be, and then they're going to let it deflate as they exhale. So you just allow them to repeat that, inhale. They can extend their belly if they want to. It's not going to hurt anything. And they envision this balloon all big and blown up in their belly, and they hold it for a moment, and then they exhale and tell them to, make sure that they deflate that balloon as much as possible. That encourages them to fully exhale. It's really a fun visualization, especially for little kids, to picture this balloon. And it can be really interesting to see what color balloon your child picks. You can, if you get into those sorts of symbolisms, you can look up what different colors stand for, the connotations around that, and that can kind of give you some insight into where your child is mentally at the moment, what they're dealing with internally. It can give you some really interesting insights that way. Just like with your own meditations, that sort of thing can give you insights as what's going on within yourself that you might not even realize is going on subconsciously. The next children's meditation I want to show you is called bumblebee breath. And this can be done several different ways, but the main one is you have the child inhale, and then as they exhale, they're going to make a bumblebee sound with their mouth as they exhale. So, and continue for the full exhale. I can go a pretty long time, so I just cut it off. But have them, as they do this, pay attention to how they hold their tongue and their mouth to make that noise, what the sensation feels like, the vibration of their tongue, that sort of thing. Really, really noticing that the physical movements and sensations that accompany making that noise. Now, it doesn't have to be a bumblebee breath. It can be a lot of different types of noises, and it can be interesting to change it up and compare how the different noises feel. So you could have them, burble their lips or do a snake hiss or anything that you and your kids come up with that you want to try is absolutely wonderful. Just bringing that awareness to how their body interacts with their mind as they breathe. The third meditation I want to show you to try with your kids. Now this one you might have some issues with if you're not genetically inclined to be able to do this, but most people can do this. It's the tongue tube meditation. So you do have to be able to roll your tongue in order to do this, like so. And what you're doing is you're going to have your child roll their tongue into a tube and then breathe through it. And again, you're having them really notice those physical sensations that accompany their breath. You can have them tune into how breathing that way makes them feel after a few breaths, because it's a different sort of intake of air. It really, you can notice how it affects the quality of your breath. It's not going to be as deep when you're only allowing yourself to breathe through this sort of straw-like structure. And that can be so fascinating for kids. And again, you're only doing this for a minute or two, allowing them to really, really become aware and mindful and present. Okay, the next one is super excellent for diffusing tension. Now, I know a lot of you are having to do school lessons with your children, and you might not be used to homeschooling, and it can be really frustrating when you are getting used to this new way of communicating with your children. It's a totally different world to be going through lessons with your child than it is just being at home with them. So this one, if you're in a moment where you guys are just really angry at each other, frustrated, this is a great one. Take a moment to just allow that tension to be diffused by doing a shoulder roll meditation. And this one is pretty self-explanatory. As you inhale, you're going to roll your shoulders forward and up. And then as you exhale, back and down. And you're going to do that several times with your child, and then you'll reverse directions. So you'll go back and up and forward and down. Still inhale up, exhale down, just reversing the direction of the roll. And this diffuses so much tension because we carry so much tension in our necks and our shoulders, and really just allowing us to bring our mind right there and roll that out. It makes a huge difference in our mindset. It's a great way to release frustration. And finally, I want to talk to you about using mantra and affirmations with your child. Words have so much power, and we receive so many auditory lessons, so much information throughout the day that we take in, and we don't even realizing how much we're processing because our brain just takes so much in all day long. So if you can take a couple minutes with your child to set a belief that you want to grow for them, it's powerful. Now, you can do this with just regular English affirmations where you have them repeat, I am loved, or I am special, or whatever you want to grow with them. Or you can look up Sanskrit mantras and teach them how to say those. Those can be really fun for kids because the words sound sort of weird to them, and it can be kind of fun for them to see how that feels in their mouth to speak a language that they don't normally speak. With those, I tend to stick with the really easy, short type Sanskrit mantras. Like, for example, the world's oldest mantra is Om, and Om is pretty easy to remember. So having your child chant that with you helps ground them, bring them into awareness of their connection to all that is and their limitless possibility. So that can be super fun as well. All right, guys, so that is 5 different types of meditation to practice with your children. Again, meditation is just such a wonderful habit, and the younger that a person is when they start to develop that habit, the easier it's going to be for them to continue having healthy, energetic hygiene into adulthood. You know, it's just like teaching them how to brush their teeth and take showers and eat proper nutrition. This is such a great tool for a life of health and joy. I hope that this helps all of you so much as you learn how to navigate this odd terrain we're in with being isolated in our homes and not out in the world as much as we normally would be. If you have a question that you would like to see answered on an episode of Q and Allie, be sure to send those in to submissions@alliecartwright.com, and you might see your name on the next episode of Q and Allie. Again, I'm Allie Cartwright, empowering you to live your best life. Live fully, laugh lots, and love yourself.